Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. Hey guys, this is part 2 of a 2-part series where I am sharing a lecture I did with the students at BYU Idaho. I did this in March of 2023, and I hope you really enjoy it. If you've not listened to part 1, this second part isn't going to make a lot of sense. So please go back and watch part 1 first, which is just the previous episode on the podcast, or if you're on the YouTube channel, the previous video. And I hope you really enjoy this lecture series. I am talking to an art department about making money. So hopefully it helps you understand a little bit more about like my personal feelings about fine artists and designers and photographers making money in this world. I think we should be figuring out ways in order to produce income so that we can keep these creative careers. So check that out. I think you guys are really going to like this episode. And if you haven't watched the previous one, go back and watch it. All right, enjoy. Okay, so this is what I run into. Okay, so I told you I have 150 designers that are active right now on Design Suite. We had a team on Mini-Lou of 16, 15 designers. I worked with a team of 6 designers on Cartabella. And then, of course, I taught design. And I see this over and over and over again for design businesses, and this is huge. If you want to be profitable, you have to run through this model. Okay, so the first is ideation. How many here has good ideas? You have good ideas? Great ideas? Okay, you're an ideation. You're a visionary. Guess what? Creatives are the best visionaries. We think up the best stuff. We walk into Target and we walk around, we see something, we're like, oh my gosh, I could totally make that. I could make it better. I could add this to it. And we're like product creation in our head all the time. Okay? It's the best thing about us. Okay? So that's stage 1. We have an idea. It sparks the idea and we're ready to go. Number 2 is implementation. That is our actual design time. For photographers, it's snapping the picture. For artists, it's painting the painting or illustrating. If for art educators, it would be teaching the thing, okay? So, implementation is the actual doing of the craft and the final product, okay? We tend to be really good at implementation. We have the idea, we make the stuff, okay? If you decide to go into corporate America, these are the only 2 things you have to do. You don't have to worry about production and sales. Just kidding, unless you're a production assistant. That's not as fun, okay? So, usually you're spending most of your time on ideas and implementation, okay? The third one is production. Now, this comes with experience, and I am going to tell you that until I became a creative director, I didn't realize how important production was. And once I kind of figured out great production is mindless, fantastic, easy work, I started to really like production. But most designers don't love production. I'm going to tell you right now, embrace it, okay? This is figuring out whether you're supposed to be an RGB or CMYK, setting up your bleeds, making sure that it lays out correctly for your printer, adding all of your codes and scan barcodes and written pieces. Like for scrapbooking, scrapbooking paper is 12 by 12. That's a lie, it's not. It's 12 by 12 and a half. And you have to cut off, there's a little white piece at the bottom that has a scan code on it, names on it, the back of the paper is on it. There is someone who had to sit and fix the production for that, who's usually my production assistant, okay? So production is piece number 3. And the 4th one is the one nobody likes to do, and that is sales. Now, here's the coolest thing ever. If you're listening to me and you're like, I am going to do an online shop, Carina. I'm going to build a platform and I'm going to build an online shop and I'm going to make lots of money, okay? All sales is uploading that product, putting a title on it, adding a description, and zipping it up. And there are lots of people who will not do this stage, even though it's that simple. If it's sales for something else,
then maybe a physical product is going to be a little bit different. Maybe it's running what we do in Design Suite is running boot camp. So that's our sales process. Maybe it's running a Facebook ad, okay? You guys don't have that. If you sell online, it is actually very simple. It's understanding SEO, okay? Now, here's the thing that we find most, especially in our program. And those of you, you guys are all getting started, so you're not going to have the aha moment until you actually start your design businesses or you start working in corporate. And that is most designers and you guys, I'm saying designers, but photographers, anything, are really good at ideation and implementation. That's because it's the design process. So we know how to use the software, we make the beautiful designs, and then do you know what happens? We go have another idea, and then we go implement that. And then we have another idea, and we implement that. And you know what happens? We never do production and sales. This I see over and over and over again, and I talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of designers every year. And they will tell me, Carina, I saw this, and I realized why I wasn't making money. It's because they never went through the entire process, okay? So in order to be profitable, if you just follow this little format, it is hard not to be profitable. Like, I challenge you not to be profitable. Because if you literally have an idea, you design it, you make the product, you produce it so you get it totally ready to go. Like that someone on the other end can consume it, a customer. You make it customer palatable. And then you actually put it in a place where it has an add to cart button, then you will eventually, maybe not sell that product, but you will sell some stuff, okay? Because most people never bother to put the add to cart button on things. They just don't, okay? But I know that's not you guys. You guys are all gonna do this, right? You're gonna add the add to cart button, okay? All right. It's 8:06 or 8:07, and I want to answer any questions you guys have. Was this helpful?
Yeah.
Do you guys all feel motivated to go make some money in this world?
Yeah.
Yes. Listen, you have to have a compelling reason to want to do this. Mine was I wanted to stay home with my kids, and I had to pay off some student loan debt, okay? Right? You have to have a compelling reason to do the day in and day out. The first 3 months is really fun. You're like, I'm on a new platform, I'm selling this one thing, it's going really well. And then your motivation is gonna drop off. And you're not gonna want to design for a day. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna take a day off. I don't want to. And then 2 days go by, and then 3 days go by. 4 days go by. I see this a lot. So if this happens to you, I just need to have like a ding moment in your head and go, Carina said this was going to happen. My motivation is really low. You have to dig deep and find whatever that compelling reason is. Okay? One of the things I say to my designers all the time is actually, poor Jeannie. So in one of my meetings, Jeannie was like, I'm gonna do, she was like, I'm gonna do tumblers. I have the artwork, I'm gonna do tumblers, and I'm gonna do stickers, and I'm gonna do Glowforge files, and I'm gonna do, I can't remember the last thing, it was maybe prints. And I said, no, you're not. And she was like, but Carina, I have the artwork, I have like all this art for all of that. And I was like, no, you are not. Choose one and go all in. And she was like, but I have the artwork for all. I was like, I don't care. You are gonna choose one and you're gonna go all in, okay? And I said, how many could you produce? And I see you in 2 weeks if you went all in on one. I was like, you already have the artwork. She was like, well, how many do you think I could produce? And I said, 200. And she was like, okay. And I said, and I just said it in front of 30 people. She was like, now I have to do it. And I was like, yes, you do. I said, I will see you in 2 weeks and you were gonna have 200. 2 weeks later, she showed up and she goes, well, I did it. And I was like, I know you did. I knew you would because you had social peer pressure here in this group that you said that you were gonna do 200 because I gave you the command to do 200. And she was like, you know what's so crazy? Now that I've done 200, I make my designers do at least 10 a week. She was like, 10 seems real easy now. And I was like, isn't that interesting? So the harder we work, the more we strive, the more effort we put in, the easier it eventually gets, you guys. Okay, questions? Yeah. Do we have a mic? All the way in the corner, Scott. I'm gonna make you run.
Do you have any advice on where to find and how to identify the audience that you're going to sell to?
So what my recommendation is what I do with all my designers is we do a planning session, and I say, what's the one thing you want to focus on and the one shop you want to focus on? So what you just need to do is, for me, I know craft markets exist. So SVG files would be one marketplace. And then where would my shop be? Maybe I'd start on Etsy. Does that make sense? So if you can focus in on two things, like maybe I like, you guys know t-shirt designs, sublimation. Do you guys know what a sublimation file is? You guys are gonna know all the things. You like get on Etsy and go just take a peek. Etsy is usually the first place we like people to go because then it'll get us into all the other shops we want to get into, okay? So what I want you to do is go on Etsy, go see what there is. Go look at the sales. How many has that person sold? That's how you know if there's a market for it. We went looking for digital bookmarks. I don't think anyone sold more than 12 of them. Don't sell digital bookmarks, guys. They don't sell, okay? So finding places is just seriously, go on platforms, go on Amazon, go look at their digital goods, go to Creative Market, go look at their digital goods, go see what's selling and see if you can make yourself a niche. You don't want to do what everybody else is doing, right? Because that's not your uniqueness. That's not going to make you win. But if you can go and find markets, and you're like, you know what, the font market is doing great. You guys, I did dingbats for 3 years, phenomenal. And I just went all the way in on that, okay? Right now, we're doing wallpaper. We're all the way in on wallpaper. And so finding those markets, and you're like, I just really like digital fabric. Go find where they're selling digital fabric. Go to that shop and see if there's a market there. Does that help? Oh man, sorry Scott, front row.
So what advice would you have for someone who's like, I'm an illustration major, so I'm like, I'd probably start illustrating other people's books, but eventually I'd like to be like illustrating and writing my own books. Like, what advice would you have on that?
Oh my gosh, that's fun. Now, that is one of the markets that is super phenomenal. My book that I wrote, I didn't go through a publisher. I just used Amazon. Easy peasy. And I actually know people who write books who are making like $500,000 a year. Okay? They come out with 4 books a year. Effort, you guys. Numbers and effort. Okay? So the answer is you can do it. Just put a lot of effort into it. If you love the illustration piece as well, figure out ways to do that in ways that is accessible to people, like social media. Like, think about YouTube. If you can be showing those illustrations on YouTube and showing people what they could get if they were getting your books and what you were doing, that would be phenomenal, okay? But just don't limit yourself to books, because you guys, illustration, every market needs illustration.
What are markets besides books that illustration?
Stickers. You can draw stickers, wall murals, wallpapers, fabric. Like, think of all the little like, what do you illustrate? What's some, like, tell me a little doodle or something that you draw.
Well, there's a project I did for a community college class. Like, I basically did something along the line of, basically I started with a classic Star Wars poster, and then I made a princess version of the poster.
Okay, this is what illustrators, this is an awesome example, okay? Because she's thinking about terms of like a full poster. The way you win online is by isolating your illustrations. So if you just draw the princess piece, Then we can take that and turn it into a sticker, piece of fabric, wallpaper, SVG file, print and cut. Do you guys understand? When you paint and draw something in an 8x10 format or a 24x36, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. If you can illustrate a penguin and it's just isolated, we can do a lot with that. Does that make sense? Yeah. You've got to kind of like, I love it for a poster format, but then you'll have to extract it in Photoshop, which is not very fun. But if you can start drawing in layers, specifically layers to get your stuff by itself, then you can use that later. I haven't talked about this here, but one of the ways I've won is by repurposing my design work. So right now, we have 10,000 designs in the Silhouette store, and what my ops manager and our production assistant is taking all of those designs and putting them on Etsy. I don't have to do anything. I'm not doing anything. And I'm making money every single day. So figuring out how to repurpose your stuff into other platforms is key. Wow, is that great? I think there's...
So you talked about the idea of doing one thing really well. I'm a person who loves variety, and it's hard to do just one thing all the time. How do you avoid the fatigue of that?
So give yourself 6 months. That's usually what I do. So it's 6 months, 100 products or 1,000 products. So give yourself some key timelines, because if you think to yourself, I'm going to do this forever for the rest of my life, yeah, of course you're going to lose motivation. You're not going to want to keep doing it. So instead, especially with my designers, we talk about 6-month increments. So if they're going to start stickers, then we'll say, all right, you're starting in January stickers, and I want you to do this until June. Let's see if we can make any progress. Now, the other thing you haven't experienced yet is most of our designers, not most, but a good portion of our designers make money starting at 8 weeks. Guess what's the most motivating thing in the world, guys? Making money. So what will happen is, if you start making money, guess what? The motivation will be there. Yeah. And here's the thing, you guys, it's really not about the money. If we're being really honest, the money is literally just a vehicle to tell you you are on the right track. You guys realize that, right? If someone throws down hard cash, even if it's only 90 cents for an item, what they're telling you is they're willing to trade what you had for something they had. That is all money is, okay? And so what they're telling you, and that's why I was trying to tell you about the market research thing, all it is telling you what works, what customers like, and that's how you know to make more of that thing. Okay.
I knew the white shirt would get your attention.
It worked.
Okay, I feel like I've struggled learning about SEO, so where do you recommend we learn about SEO or start researching learning about it?
Have you been dreaming of earning a master's degree or a design certificate that could lead you to launch your very own business? The University of Arts and Design has unique programs where you not only learn how to design, but how not to be a starving artist, which is why I created it. Join us in our upcoming Design Your Future event. Visit uad.education/designyourfuture to learn more about our students, discover the courses that we offer, and find out more about how you can become part of something truly unique in the university experience.
So do it by platform. So for example, in my program, Sweet Kim, who's actually my little sister, brilliant, makes so much money on Etsy. She's our SEO guru, and it's just directly in Etsy, but she doesn't know how to do SEO on other websites. Does that make sense? So there are so many different kinds of helpers for that. So for Etsy, it's eRank. There's a software called eRank that you can use to take a peek at that. SEO on other sites like Shutterstock or Adobe Stock, think about putting things into the search bar. And very often it will bring down other things that match that. Have you guys noticed that? So if you put in like SVG, then it'll pop down and show SVG for Cricut, SVG for stickers, SVG. Guess what? That's the SEO right there. Tell you exactly what keywords you should be putting into your descriptions. Okay. All the way back there. Oh.
So problem I always have a lot is you make a print or a pattern or a vector and you take that thumbnail and you alter it into different colors and you inverse it in silhouette. How do you pick the final one? Like which one you're going to...
Are you selling it digitally or to a manufacturer?
Yes.
If you're selling it digitally, you use all of them.
Okay.
If you're selling it to a manufacturer, then you do have to choose your very best one. And usually you're not choosing a single, you're choosing a collection. And because it's a collection, it should inform how you're building the rest of that collection out. But yeah, wallpaper, we upload between 10 and 20 of every design in multiple colors. Anybody else?
I have one. Is this talking loud? Does that work?
Yeah, I think Scott's trying to get to you, but...
This kind of relates to the last question maybe a little bit.
Yeah, so what I'm curious about is you said that you have over 10,000 designs in your shop, and to me that's like an insane amount. So I'm curious what the line is between having a lot of content, or like at what point should we care about having a lot versus like the quality of what we're producing? I don't know if that makes sense.
100% it makes sense. I actually did an accelerated workshop on quality versus quantity. So here's what I find that happens. At the very beginning of your career, you should be going for quantity. Why? Because you're not good enough yet. The one thing I skipped over in this was the thumbnail. Does everyone, I don't know, Scott, do you guys do a thumbnail exercise? Okay, good. Okay, so like the 1-inch squares, and you have to do an apple, and you have to do it 50 ways, and the first like 10 suck, and the last 10 are pretty cool. Same thing. So you should be going for quantity first. You guys, everyone should be going for quantity first, volume of product. Because you'll notice it wasn't, I mean, I'm 15 years in, it was probably, I don't know, year 8 or 9, maybe 10, before I started making these. So if you can go for volume, you just naturally get better, and you also naturally get bored and have to push yourself to a limit to create something so unique and so different that people want to look at you. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So I had 2 questions. I was wondering, what are markets that photographers can go into?
Shutterstock, Adobe stock, anything with a stock photography is really good. Really good.
And then my other question is, if you're a writer, does the doing one thing and focusing on it also work for that? Like if you do a bunch of books that have the same idea?
Writing is not my specialty, so I'm not sure about that. My friend Nikki is a copywriter. She has a copywriting program, and I think she would say not necessarily. I think writing's a whole other genre. So like if you're, at the end of the day, I will tell you what works in most business, you guys. Quantity. Because it's frequency. That's marketing. It's good marketing, it's frequency. So I don't know if you necessarily have to have them all in the same market. I do think it's helpful. For example, I plan on writing a book every year. It will always be about design, right? Because that's what I'm known for. So it helps you build a brand if you do have a similar idea. Like if you're writing fiction and nonfiction, I do think that gets a little bit messy.
Thank you.
Scott over here.
Hello. So my question is, lately there's been a lot of talk about AI programs for writing and art creation, and you just mentioned your copywriter friend, and I was talking to someone recently, they had to let go of quite a few copywriters because they can get AI to do it. And so that's how it is with art too. It's like, why does it matter how unique or special or quantity if I can just get an AI to do it? So what are your thoughts on that in general?
AI is a big discussion in the creative community right now. AI, we expected not to come after creative communities first. We thought it would go after more mechanical things, but that's actually been the opposite. Here's the thing. This is why I emphasize you have to be the very best at what you do. So what we're seeing in copywriting at this moment, and I think is going to happen, is that the cream of the crop is coming to the top. Because what happens is, okay, so I have to write a lot of marketing emails. I will go to the AI and I'll write in what I think I want. It will fix it, kind of like Grammarly, or maybe it will give me some points. The problem is it's never straight on. It's not really in my business. It's not right exactly. It's just a little bit off. So what you're going to see companies do is take that main copy and they'll take it to a copywriter and say, will you clean this up and fix it so it works for my business? It has most of the key points, but it's not exactly right. The same thing is going to happen for design. I think AI is going to be able to output, I mean, it already does. It can output a logo for you. If you say, I want a logo for something called forest trees, I want it to be very modern, and will you make me that logo? It can output it for you. Then you can say, I want 10 different versions of this, and it'll output it for you. Very often, it's still not the right logo. So what will happen is the client will just become more savvy, and they're going to take those 10 logos and say, I like these two the best, and they're going to take it to a graphic designer and say, I need this recreated, but I want this, 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 this. And you're going to have to fix it. So as you rise to the top, what's going to happen is those that know how to use AI to their advantage, they're going to start winning. Does that make sense to you guys? So don't be afraid of it. Just get really, really good at what you do, and you're going to be able to figure out how to use it to your advantage. Any other questions before we have a couple over here?
Yeah, so my question is, so yeah, I know you say sorry, I talk too close to the microphone, to basically just go all in on like one platform, quantity over quality, as we figure out to gain our quality and whatnot. What's the good, I guess, time to go from one platform to another, and transferring to working multiple over time? Is it just a slow process over a couple of years or so, or
No, I usually do it by product. So for my designers, once they've hit about 100 to 200 products, I say you can go to another platform if you want a second one.
Okay.
So, and that's okay. My preference is 1,000.
Got it.
But, because we're designers, because we're creators, it's hard to kind of stick to one thing. So that's a great way to kind of leverage what you already have on another website.
Right, okay, thank you.
So, sorry. In the meantime, while we're building up this incredible portfolio body of work, I will need to be working any job that will make me money until then. So how do you know at what point it's okay to quit your day job and just send it with full design?
How much money do you want to make?
A lot.
How much per month?
Ideally, it would be $3,000.
Okay, $3,000 a month. How many products do you think that is?
So many.
It's a lot. It's a lot of product. So what you're going to want to do is, this is the compelling reason, you guys. If you hate your day job so much that you skip all the Netflix and all the dating and all the other things, okay? And at night, all you're doing is producing product, then you will get there faster than someone else. I say this to my designers all the time. I have designers who have to work a full-time job, right? That's just life. They have a full-time job. We have doctors, we have teachers, we have people who have full-time things. So we say minimum you've got to work 10 hours, okay?
But we also have people who totally quit their jobs and do this 40 or 50 hours a week. Guess who goes faster? Who starts making money faster? Person who can devote the time to it. So while I can't tell you exactly, I'm just going to tell you the more hours you put in, the faster you will get there. And you have to feel compelled to get there. Thank you.
Even though you just told them that they shouldn't date.
Oh, sorry. Guys, date. Get married and get done with that part, okay? Just get done with that part and you're going to be fine. Just get on to your career.
If we want to do like commissions and custom drawings for people, how would we go about that?
Etsy.
Etsy.
It is an amazing place out there because back in the day you would have to go by word of mouth, right? And people in town would have to find you and it would be all this stuff. But guess what, you guys? Part of the reason I'm on 9 platforms isn't because I'm making so much money on those platforms. It's because of the marketing and the SEO. So it's easy if they find me on one site to be like, oh, she only has 300 products on this site? Huh, I wonder what else, I like her stuff. I'm gonna go find her on another site, right? It's the word of mouth. So Etsy is a great place because you can do customizations, you can put up, I do, and you know what's so nice about that? Part of the reason people are afraid to get custom portraits or custom things is because they don't know the price. They don't know if you're gonna be $100, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. But if you put on Etsy, you do an 8.5 by 11, and you charge $500 for it, and you'll have it done in about 3 weeks, you'll get some bites because it's very clear, right? How many of you guys like to go into a restaurant and you have no idea what you're going to spend? That's scary, right? Especially if you're living on a budget. Same with anything else. So artists, and unfortunately, artists, it's a scary thing to commission a portrait because you don't know how much it's going to cost you. And Etsy and any other marketplace like that where there's all this clarity around it, it gives you an advantage. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And do you know what my favorite customization is, by the way? You can have pre-made designs and all you do is add in the family's name or a little, if they want a butterfly on it or they want personalization of the grandmother's name. Like there are customizations out there, you guys. You can have everything built on it and then a VA can go in and just type in the name. That's a custom design. We know people who are making a lot of money doing that. Okay?
We didn't really talk about networking at all. Do you have any suggestions for that?
Oh, Scott and I just talked about this. This is a hard thing. This is part of the reason I built a program because networking is a very, it's a soft skill. So depending on what you want to do, like for example, I'm going to give an example just to help you kind of broaden your ideas about what you can do for networking. So like I'm a fabric designer, right? But one of the ways people get fabric contracts is they go to Quilt Market. There's 2 every single year, and it's a convention. Now, to get into Quilt Market, they don't want a lot of people just to come in. You have to be in industry. So one of the ways people will get in industry is they'll have a blog or they'll have an Instagram feed and have enough of a following in order to be able to get into Quilt Market so that they can go show their portfolio designs to manufacturers. Does that make sense? So that's how they're kind of building their networks. And then what happens when you get in with a contractor or a network like that, then you start to reach out and meet people. One of my favorite ways to build my contacts is actually via my podcast. If you don't, anybody listen to podcasts here? My podcast is called Make and Design with Carina Gardner. But one of the ways that I like connecting with people is if there's someone that I'm like, I would love to connect with, I invite them to come be on my podcast because I'm serving them. I'm getting their name out. I'm helping them. And I think that's something that I really haven't talked about, but I will tell you this. If you can go out of your way to give value to somebody else, like when someone comes on my podcast, I'm like, let's promote the heck out of whatever you've got going on. You got a new fabric line? Let's tell people about it. You got a new course? Let's tell people about it. You're a magazine editor? Let's tell everybody how to buy your magazine. If you can serve other people, the more you do, the more they want to be part of your world. They want to be part of your network. Okay? So that was an example of Quilt Market, but there are other ways. So networking groups, you can join organizations, you can join a mastermind. There are Facebook groups I know out there. It's just a little bit tricky. You should build networks here with the student body. You should make friends with people here, and you should keep in contact. And as you go out into the world and you start designing, you should be reaching out to each other to find out what you guys are doing. That is amazing to me. Even Lindsay Bowerman, who's the one who suggested Scott, that contact is from 10 years ago. And Lindsay and I would talk once in a blue moon. I hadn't talked to her forever. We had met at a scrapbooking convention where I was the creative director of one company and she was the creative director of another. We chatted for one hot second, and that was it. And then she reached out to the Blue and said, hey, you know, would you like to come help with this class and talk to them about surface pattern? And I was like, sure, that's great. So it's not like you have to have tight connections with people. You just have to meet them and know what the value is and help each other out. Does that make sense? Networking's a tough one though. It is really tough. I mean, I have a very expensive program, and most of the reason people join it is for the community, because they know everybody in the community is super safe and they can ask any question, because you guys have seen how honest I am about money and talking about it. We divulge everything in there. And so because of that, everyone is very open and honest with each other about how many sales they're making, how much money they're making, what they're in, how they're producing it, what shops they're in. And so that really happens in closed communities. You guys are a closed community, you guys know that, right? So use this network. Any last minute questions? Okay, you guys, thank you for allowing me to be here. Hopefully you got so much out of it. I hope I get to see a bunch of you tomorrow. I think we're going to make sticker sheets. Are we going to do stickers? I said I'll teach you guys whatever you want to be taught. So I do a lot of different things, so I'm happy to help and talk to you. If you guys want to stay after me, you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to you about anything that's going on or what you want to do. All right, thanks guys.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.